Hello and welcome to our channel Into Success. I'm happy you're here and I'm really happy to have another guest with us here at Ignite 2024. And you may recognize our guest because she was a guest some years ago already on 18, I think, 19. It's
So.
like a classic meetup here.
It is. It is. It's perfect. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, and hi to everyone out there.
So just to make the short introduction complete, Karuana Gatimu, and I'm really happy you're here. You may hear the clapping hands for the
Yes,
introduction.
exactly. That was great. That was perfect timing.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Karuana Gatimu, and I am the director of the Microsoft 365 Customer Advocacy Group. And we're responsible for the Microsoft tech community, adoption at Microsoft.com, all the community at scale work that we do, and a lot of adoption and solution work around Microsoft 365 Copilot and Microsoft Viva. So all the fun stuff, SharePoint and Teams and OneDrive, and it's such an exciting. And since we've seen each other, it's my role has expanded. I was in Microsoft Teams. Now I have the whole kit and caboodle, and I have a fantastic team of awesome people who make it all possible.
You do.
I do.
You have been here for the whole time. You have had a very special job. You've been on camera the whole time.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It's really fun to get to be one of the honor hosts for the
Yeah.
digital experience because there's just thousands of people who can't get here to this location. So they follow along online. And our job is to make them feel included in all the fun that's here and help them understand how to get the most out of the digital site.
Yeah.
And experience because there's a lot of information at Ignite. So
Yes.
don't want people to get overwhelmed by it, but be able to create some learning paths and all of that. It's a real privilege to get to do it. I think this is my fourth one. I think it's my fourth. It's my 10th Ignite overall, but I think it's the fourth time I've hosted. So
That's incredible.
yeah, it's good. It's really good.
And I've heard it was about 120,000 online people.
Yes, I
So-
didn't see the numbers, but that sounds about right. I mean, it's a lot, it gets bigger every year.
Yes.
And actually, I try not to think about it when I'm on air. I don't think about that. I just think about, talking to people like yourself or people that I know in the community, like, hey, come along. I know you're not here. Let
Yeah.
me show you the fun things that are happening. And to remind people that we're real people. Sometimes
Right.
if you're behind the name like Microsoft, people can forget that there's actually real people here building these tools and experiences and really all focused on trying to do a good job. And so I like people to understand that.
And I think it's good to remind the people because I've seen so many excitement about Mark Rusinovich and Scott Hanselman.
Yes.
So this is always good to see they are in the topic, but also in direct discussion. So it was possible to meet them people
That's right.
and have discussions about the different topics. So
Absolutely. And
that's good.
one of the things that's new this year is in a couple of days, by the time I think your viewers see this segment, you'll be able to put in my name in the session catalog and see all the interviews I did, one of which was Scott
Oh.
Hanselman. And that's new this year because people have wanted to see our segments and they haven't always been in the catalog, but now they're included.
That's
And I
good.
think it's great because you get, in a session, it's very one to many. But in these interviews, we're having a conversation. It's much more human. And sometimes we get to cover different elements of whatever feature or product we're talking about. Selfishly, I love the job because I get to learn about things all across Microsoft. I learn about Azure, about security, modern
Yeah.
work, what's happening in partner, what's happening across the business units. There's a lot of actual study that goes into it. And it humbles me how much work is happening across the company right now. It's really pretty amazing.
It is. I've seen multiple topics here. Is it all the way from the organizational part up to the we are live, always the same topic, or do you have any changes like changing priorities from the planning part? So when you start with planning for Ignite,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, no, there's lots of changes up until the minute we get here, and then we might change something because we decided it would land better a different way, like a few minutes before we go on air. It's a very dynamic thing. And also,
Yeah.
people think that all of what we do is scripted. It isn't. They'll say ad lib for 8 minutes, and you have to make up a conversation with your co-host for 8 minutes about what you just saw. And by the way, you
Right.
didn't just see it because you were off shooting something else. So you
Yeah.
didn't actually see it. You had to read the cliff notes and be able to talk about it. So, but the planning of this, and I said it in our close, there are hundreds of people who go into planning this event. And they're really unseen heroes, the content leads, the content managers, the marketing people, but also the production crew and the people who bring you the digital experience that we call the digital venue of ignite.microsoft.com. That's no small feat
No.
to put that together. And there are changes that happen. Of course, we do planning. We'll start planning next year's Ignite as soon as this one wraps.
Sure.
And they'll start it. And then people like me don't get involved until, probably 6 months before the show. But it's really important to just acknowledge all those people that do so much work to create this entire experience online and here in Chicago.
Are you happy from the Microsoft perspective with this Ignite?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
feel it was a good one?
It's the largest since the pandemic. A
Absolutely.
lot of people here. This feels more like the Ignites that used to happen before the pandemic
Yes,
that I'm
I
so
agree.
familiar with.
Yes.
And so big, robust show floor, lots of bright, shiny lights, people milling around, lots of people, very long lunch line, lines in the men's bathroom, not in the women's bathroom. Hope to change that someday. So there'll be equal lines in these bathrooms. But yeah, I feel like it was a very good vibration, and that people were happy to be back together. Because the best thing that happens, whether you're at Ignite or a community days or some community event that might be in your own local area, it's the in-between conversations that are so important.
Yes.
It's me running into you and doing this interview right here. It's me running into people and taking selfies or having conversations about what they're doing. Those connections are the social glue that are so important in being able to collaborate and be innovative and be productive. So I feel like these events in person are really important, but I would never go back probably from a planning perspective to a in-person only event. The reach that we get online with those 120,000 people, you can't beat that. We need to include them, right? There's not enough of us technologists to understand people and technology. So the more we can bring people together, the better.
I agree with every part. So I prefer the personal experience, also because I'm in the time zone, and that makes it a lot easier for me to follow all the content.
Right.
But also meet people in person, maybe see some people that just have seen via camera on a display, first time in person.
I have a lot of that. And maybe it's because, I am on YouTube, our community calls, I'm at events and stuff like this. But I meet a lot of people that have only ever seen me on air. And it's a fantastic experience. I don't know if people understand how much it means to me when they introduce themselves to me. It means a lot to me. It's why I do what I do. I feel so lucky to be able to represent this community, and especially since I'm from the community, as SharePoint before, and now in all the different stuff that I've done. So it really means a lot to me when somebody comes up and introduces themselves and says, "Oh, I heard you on the champion call," which I've been doing with my team for, I don't know, 7 years now or something. And we take a selfie together. It just makes my day. So never hesitate. I will always try to stop and take a selfie with people. I want them to. I'm not so great with email and those slew of messages on LinkedIn. I'm not so good at getting back there, but I am very good at an event, at taking a selfie with you and having a moment, and then going on to wherever I need to be.
It's good to know. I always forget the selfies, so remind me.
Yes, we need a selfie. 100%, absolutely. We'll put it online on Blue Sky.
If you would recommend a specific topic or a specific area for, let's say, the time until the next Ignite, is that something you would recommend our audience?
There is, actually. I know that we keep talking about Copilot and AI.
Oh,
and don't get me wrong.
Not again, Copilot.
No, that's not what I'm going to say, though. But wait for it. Okay. I know that's what we keep talking about, but that's not what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest that you deep dive into M365 tenant administration and security. Because no matter what, whether you're ready for AI or whether you're not ready for AI, or maybe whether you think you're ever going to use AI or not, we all need better tenant administration and governance. I have been talking about this for 20 years, actually, and I'm going to keep talking about it because that work for governing your M365 tenant and all of your data estate is critical to your AI readiness. So I really think that that's super important. And the new capabilities that are coming out of the security space, it's why on adoption.microsoft.com, we just launched the Security Enablement Hub on adoption.microsoft.com. And it's our first deeper partnership with the security team, but it's
That's good.
so important. It's
Absolutely.
absolutely important. And so security is a team sport. I know you hear us say that, but it actually is true.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have a vision of doing when I get back is there needs to be some simplified playlists right alongside how to do something in Word and Teams to understand MFA and to understand some of the basics of employee activation around security. So I actually think it's governance and security are what's most important, and actually what I'm excited about because I know there's a way to make it more easier to understand for the average person, right? And a lot of people get afraid about this topic. I don't want
Yeah.
people to be afraid. I want them to be in action. I want them to take their future in their own hands. I want them to have a sense of purpose about it, right? And so I feel like that's what matters. Is that this is decidedly about each of us as individuals to be ready for the future. Of course, I want people to pay attention to AI and really don't let this opportunity pass by your career. But there's some really great ways to do that if you're not ready yet.
And I like that you mentioned start with the easy part.
Yes.
And I think the biggest reason why someone is scared about this huge topic security is because they always think on the whole level,
Oh, yes.
and
It's
just
overwhelming.
exactly. There's a term with the elephant. How do you eat an elephant?
Right.
Slice by slice. So
Yes.
that's also, or climb a mountain.
Right. That's
And so-
exactly one step at a time. And that's right. Like secure the basic things. And they can
Yes.
go to our site, but they can also go to learn.microsoft.com and you can start with the security fundamentals 101 courses and you can take those and they're really easy to do. You get your points right there and you can build up to getting your certification. By the way, there's not enough security professionals in the world. So it's a
True.
professional opportunity as well. But I think if you're a tenant administrator in modern work, as you know, what I think about most of the time, or you're thinking about governance across the Power Platform, or other types of solutions, that you really need to have that as a counterpoint. It's the same thing to me as you need to understand how to get people to use your stuff. I think everybody needs to know a little something about user adoption and community management. Everybody really needs to know a little something about security.
Yeah.
And I feel like, people being more confident about that would also get them closer to really understanding what AI could do for them.
Yeah. All right. So as another session is starting
I
again.
believe another. See, this community hub is so fun to be in.
Yeah.
But I really want to thank you for everything that you do. You're one of those community leaders that's been around for a while in the space, and it's about consistent presence and always doing your part. And you always volunteer, and you always have such a nice attitude about it. And now you brought someone else along to to handle the camera. So that's fantastic. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you for asking me to sit for an interview.
We are really happy to have you. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
And now thank you to every one of you who watched this. And we will see you in another video. And if you have any questions, any specific topics you want to talk, maybe security, then we just head over to www.intosuccess.de or contact us via social media. We are happy to talk to you. See you in the next time.